Yo, folks, Shizzle and so forth. Time for yet another edition of the one and only Rap in the Forums. I must protest, by the way. Blizzard deleted the thread I was going to rap, so I had to find another one. Disgraceful. Unacceptable. Bad. Okay. So, yeah, this is just to prove a point, by the way. Let's go with this one. It's a 1, a 2, and a 3, and a 4. Why are hunters such a joke of a class? I mean, look at us. We're not high-range DPS anymore. Easily beaten by ranges of locks. And outdated data that makes us easy prey. Our pets have been nerfed into a kind of great sameness or poor performance. Our utilities were modified and nerfed into uselessness. Our CC is poorly controllable and limited by the need to approach a melee range where we die quick. We can heal and res our pets. Just what is a hunter good at? Well, it's all tied up in the history of WoW. In the original design of WoW, hunters were designed to be the counter class to rogues. The rogues brought and created WoW forms, wine, and ad hominem attack machine. I proceeded to use it to get all our anti-rogue abilities nerfed away. And just to make sure we weren't a threat, we had our range damage, hit damage, speed, and traps to hell and gone as well. Just in case we might try to get our lost abilities back, the rogues created the ultimate in SDFU catch work, Hunt Hard. Now, the above-mentioned power word, don't say it, is really quite remarkable. All anyone has to do when presented with a logical, well-founded argument on how hunters got a raw deal is to throw it an unmeasurable power word, and all your credibility vanishes in a puff of teenage peer pressure, conformity, group thinker. Now, as things have evolved, hunters have a new purpose in PvP and WoW in general. Target dummy. Below this line is the editor text, explaining why I made such an obvious invite to Flamey. What I really find interesting about the plethora of comments about my gear is this: as a casual player, I get about 12 hours a week at most to play now. Right before PC came out, I took almost 2 months off from WoW. Account was closed. I reached level 70 about 3 weeks ago in 36 hours of play since I reached level 70. My primary goal was saving the 1,400 gold required to get a flying mount. I know a bunch of you will screech that you made 2k gold going from 60 to 70. Well, I did to 70, almost the entire Madonna solo after the costs. All hours, pet food, and just and armor repairs. I had around 100 gold. Hunters are expensive to operate, and with no big pockets. Now, as I've already stated, I don't and won't buy gold. I'm a natural. Honest true to the spirit of the game player. You bash me, as if I somehow committed some grievous offense for not having best gear. GTFO. I'm the gear, I got it because it suits my needs. ATM, and it's the best set of the bunch of options I got. PC Hunter itemization sucks, and I haven't had many opportunities to do it. Primarily because my gear isn't yet good enough to be welcomed. Welcomed into endgame. It's just ... man. So I'll have to solo for a while to get some gear. Just how does that change? My essential observations about how Blizzard has nerfed the crap out of hunters. The B has the rogues, it doesn't, but I'll say one thing: this post has achieved its purpose. It stands as a testament to why the armory should opt in only.
It's over 9,000. It's over 9,000.
Yes, you're a hunter. Now shut the F up and just swell defensive chat on bracers. Nice, excellent weapon choice as well, and also you can blame me if you want. Your ballistic approach to capitalization intrigues me. This important topic deserves a better spokesperson. Shoot, +4 weapon damage on 2 adamantite rapiers. Blizzard's fault that you don't have a modicum of intelligence. I don't think so. Hunters in my guild are generally good, actually good, and do extremely well in the damage meters. We are the top guild on a faction in my server, so you can't really say our other DPS sucks. ... Just because he has crappy gear doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's talking about. Using someone's armory profile as ammo is just as bad as flaming someone for a typo. His choice of gear is rather weird, but he does have a cumulative 40% avoidance. Also, he can pop deterrents for a 90% avoidance rate. Kinda gets him a melee version of CLOS. It's not hunters that are the problem, it's you. And my 60 hunter is better gear than you, which is sad. Yes, indeed. Okay, I think I've proven my point. No more live raps for me. My throat, it pains and hurts and ow. Yes, the sounds of Captain Dan, Scooby Crew, Blackbeard's Treasure. Go and check them out at myspace.com/Captain Dan. And before that, Golden Axe. Golden Axe was such an amazing game, and I am looking forward to the new one. I just hope Sega doesn't ruin it. Now, before I go on, I must announce a sad event, at least for me, but beneficial to you lot. Since we are doing fundraising for WoW Raid at the moment to upgrade our server to one that isn't slow as hell, and, of course, to raise funds for BlizzCon, I decided to make the ultimate sacrifice. And that is, I am going to auction off my Blizzard hat. Something of a rarity now, impossible to get in the UK. It was never released over here, and it's now out of print. It is the Quest Giver hat, and I intend to auction it on eBay, and I shall sign it if you wish. And that will be available on the website probably within the next couple of days. The auction will be up, and all proceeds will go to WoW Radio. And I might see what else I've got that I can put up for auction. See if you guys want a little bit of piece of WoW Radio history. Legendary indeed. Now, I'm going to take a quick drink on air, which is highly unprofessional. Yes. Now I feel like not dying. I have about 9 minutes left of this show before I hand over to the one and only Octel and Hordak versus the World, who I would strongly recommend you tune into. I believe they have an interview with Dylan Mayo this week from the Spoils, if anyone's interested in the Spoils, and you should be, because it's a great game. Stay tuned. Directly after the show, Octel and Hordak, as far as I'm concerned, the best general gaming show on the planet. And I would strongly suggest you stay for it. Now, I do, of course, have a
second wind
left on this show. As always, second wind, the opportunity that you get to voice your opinion. I will ask you about it this week, and I will take your answers over the week, and I will, of course, announce people's opinions next week, read them out on air, and see what we can come to as regards to a conclusion. And this week's second wind is this, quite simple. There's been concern that the TBC is now finished and that there can't possibly be any more content now that apparently the Naxxramas of TBC has been beaten. So, here's the question. What is the next big thing? Was Black Temple the Nax or the BWL of TBC? Was it the Molten Core? Was it even the Zul'Gurub of TBC? What's next on Blizzard's endgame agenda? Now, this is a question that I believe a lot of people can get into. The endgame raiders can get their teeth into it, the lore guys can get their teeth into it, because of course they know about the areas which could become this. Anyone can answer this one, so again, you have a week to answer this question. Now, let me go into the point behind this, just to start with, before we do shout-outs at the end of the show. The concern that Black Temple was the end of things is very, very silly. I mean, as we've read from Tigol, their job is to make new raid content. There will be more raid content. That was one patch. It was the first major content patch since TBC, and you seriously believe that now everything is finished? Don't be insane. Of course not. There is, of course, Zul'Aman, which we're well aware of, although that's going to be a 10-man, and we think that's probably going to be the AQ20 of TBC rather than the AQ40. We've, of course, also got Uldum, which has not been used yet. We have one more path off of the Caverns of Time, which is blocked, and no one is able to get through yet. Why, of course, could there not be something in Grim Batol, which I believe people have been saying for a long time there is going to be a new Red Dragon instance. I also believe that they have been saying that they want to get people back into Azeroth again. What's the best way of doing that? Of course, put raid instances in there. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of potential for places which could be raided. Now, it does seem to me completely irrational that people are actually in fear that, oh, OMG, we have reached the end. The funny thing about it is that Naxxramas, if anything, and the design of Naxxramas, particularly as mentioned, the Four Horsemen, was specifically designed to keep people from finishing the instance. Because, let's face it, if they were finishing the instance too soon, before Burning Crusade came out, well, you succumb to the whole OMG boredom thing. Raid apathy was becoming something of an issue at that point, and to have people drive on and bang their head up against something which is difficult is a way of keeping people in the game before Burning Crusade came out, and that's acceptable. Now, you can't really compare. You really cannot compare Black Temple to that, because it's not that difficult. It quite simply isn't. It did not take that long. It didn't have any of those, let's just use the crude word, cock-blocking fights in it. The end boss was not a cock-block. It's the same as Cthulhu was a cock-block for ages. The Twin Emperors were cock-block. But that's a case when that is like the end. Literally, that was the last block of content before the Burning Crusade. Now, the Burning Crusade, as far as I'm concerned, has a lot more life in it. And whether or not we're going to get a new expansion at BlizzCon, which is certainly a possibility, does not change the fact that that expansion is not going to be out for some time. More raid content will have to be introduced, and it will be introduced. I don't even think there's a doubt about that. The question is, however, and this is, of course, the subject which I'm asking you, was this the Nax? Or was this the Blackwing layer? Or was it something else? And what is, in your opinion, going to be the next big thing? And what are they going to have to do to make it the next big thing? What would you like to see as the next big thing? What area would you like to be opened up as an instance? It's a very broad, general question, and hopefully I can get a lot of interesting answers out of you. Also email themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com. Over the next week or so, I'd like to see your answers. They will no doubt be most entertaining and most interesting. I must also thank everyone today, and those over the past week who emailed in their answers to Second Wind. Yes, I did just say...
Second Wind!
The gnome was captured and tortured, and yes, he was harmed in many different ways. Not a bad thing, in my honest opinion, doing my bit for the community. I've got 4 minutes before I go off the air, folks, so time for shout-outs right now. Shout-outs to themurloc@gmail.com or PM me on IRC. I'm currently residing on QuakeNet and on MMO IRC, so get it over here right now. Send it to me, and I shall hopefully shout out to you. I do apologise in advance. There was no way I'm going to be able to fill in all the shout-outs. I never can. I get too many. Sorry. End of story. Shout-out requests coming out right now for Spoonfed, a 65 Orc Warrior on Shadowsong US. A shout-out to the Blacktooth Marauders Guild. Grats to B Yonder and Velina on their RL marriage. May your quests all be successful and the drops epic. And before we go on, I need to give a shout-out to the one and only Ariana and, of course, myself. 7-month anniversary, and she hasn't killed me yet. I am quite frankly stunned. I'd, of course, like to thank Ariana for giving me the happiest 7 months of my life, and hopefully many, many, many more. Yes, right, let's see what else we can get on with on this one. Turtle Hunter, shout out to him for hitting level 70 yesterday. Woot, that's from Lackey, level 70 gnome mage on Norganon US. A shout out to all trolls worldwide, the only race more sexy than the Blood Elves. Oh yes, you know what I'm talking about. That's from Alina on Grimbatol EU. A shout out to TB for finding his hat. Guess I didn't hide it quite well enough. Also to Luku for being just too lickable. That is incredibly scary. Could I do a shout out to Vault on Thunderhorn to stop being so newbie on Hydros, please? That's from Ryan Norris. And there is eyes there, many eyes. A shout out to Chamber Pot for hitting Karazhan. And the anti-shout out to his dad for robbing his 59 ult to nothing. Wow, that's pretty terrible. Has to be said, that is pretty terrible. A sput out to E-Drama doing Urzagoth on Blackrock US in Ashara. We are all listening, that's from Philip H. A sput out. That's definitely the first sput out I've ever had. Shout out to TB for finding his hat. You said that already? Ah! You people are trying to fool me with your evil emails. What else can we go? Oh, the flashing lights of death. My guild died approximately 30 minutes ago. That's from Thurin. Oh dear. A shout out for all the people that stayed in my guild in spite of the apparent catastrophe that just struck. Keep holding out, guys, and shout out to Tigol for actually finding something intelligent to say for a dev. Gnome hostage situation on Argent Dawn. We don't care about that. Gnomes deserve to die anyway. Shout out to Bladescope, still 70 Rogue, the Venture Co Alliance, and to the guild, the Crimson Wings. Yes, Netherray wins. I loved you. Shout out to the Zealous Pre-Made on EU servers. Shout out to everyone who is playing WoW at this moment. That's from Sutek. A shout out to me because I look like a complete clown in my DPS gear. That's from Varska, who is, so I've been told, a nub. A shout out to Michelle, who's impossible to trick. That's from Poozer. Give a shout out to all but Chaos Smurf, because you are all good, lol. That's from Zephyric. Can I get a shout out to all the other Aussies listening now? Also to my guild and gilded on Urzen. Breathing is for scrubs. Shout out to me for grinding the 5,200 gold needed for 300 rating and Mount Iamaya. 70 Hunter Moonglade. A shout out to the clan Moonwolf on Gorefiend US, my awesome guild down Netherspite after many wipes for the first time this week. Let's see what else we've got. Shout out to Goffy the Warlock Master at Scarshield Legion EU. A shout out to all Aussies up at 4 AM. Why are you even up now? And the long weekend, let's catch up on sleep. A shout out to Liavat, Paint and Jennifer on the Maelstrom. Could I have a shout out to Starseekers on Defiance Brotherhood EU who reformed tonight? Long live World PvP and Sentinel roleplay forever. Ew. Elves. Elves touching each other. Ew. That's... no. just know. A shout out to me and Dark Wolf Clan for downing first, Boss Naked 20 on my first raid, also to Illidan for dying like a good sport. I'd like to give a special shout out to Sham from Method, who is probably the worst Dota player I've ever seen in my life. Keep trucking at it, sport, you'll get there. A shout out to my guild, the Cavalier Knights, and my raid team, Force of Will, and everyone else I know on Earthen Ring EU. And that is pretty much about all the time that I have got, folks. You have been listening to Blue Please here on Wild Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Check out the rest of our shows. Feel free to donate and check out WCRadio.com over the next few days for the special hat auction of fundraising doom. I've been Total Biscuit. This has been my lungs. Good night.